Hey, what's going on guys, Yeti here, and welcome to my Yeti complains about Dishonored 2, the state it's in so far. I've played a fair bit of the game, and after playing the first 2 hours I was like, this game has a fair few problems. I may make a video complaining about it, but I want to give it its fair sort of chance before I start, complaining about it, because things might fix themselves or even out as time went on. But I've finished the game now. I've finished it 3 times. I did a stealthy but violent, and also every time I got detected I just killed everyone in the area, playthrough as Emily, which gave me the high chaos ending. I did a stealthy and mostly non-lethal except for on the targets playthrough as Corvo. So I've seen both the high chaos and the low chaos ending. I've seen how both of those can play out, and I have also began to learn the speed run and nearly finished one run, but we'll talk about that later on. So I've played a fair bit of the game. Let me just check what my hours actually are at now. I've got 12 hours in the game so far, and that's I've finished it technically 4 times, but also technically only 3 times again. I'll talk about that later. And this is my video complaining about it. Now, I know that patches are going to happen, which is why I'm not going to, spend ages on this video. It's going to be kind of a shortish video. I'm not going to put a ton of effort into loads and loads of clips and stuff. And in fact, the gameplay, since my frame rate was so appalling, I was getting less than 30 on average outside of recording, so about a third of the way through the game I just stopped recording and played it without recording it. So what I'm going to do for gameplay is I'm just going to basically show background gameplay of the stuff I already recorded for my edited video that'll be out, that was out yesterday actually, and then this will go out on Monday, and then when I have a relevant clip that I want to throw in, I'll throw that in. But yeah, without any further ado, let's just get into the video. So I feel like the elephant in the room, the biggest, most important kicker for me, and the thing that ruined it the most, and this is something which sort of came into fruition from the start of the game and maintained it throughout the game and was regularly stopping me from wanting to play it, is the performance, the optimization. The frame rate is appalling. Probably the worst I've seen in a long time. I never played Batman Arkham Knight, so I don't know how that was, but I can't think of an example on the top of my head of a game that I've played over the past year or two that performed worse than that. It's really bad. And like I said, I never played Batman Arkham Knight, or maybe there are other games which are really bad that I didn't play, but this, it's unplayable. A lot of the time it drops below 30 in open areas with a bunch of guards, which are quite, there's quite a few of those in the game, since that was a big thing of the game. Oh, it's much more open now, but it performs horrendously. But at the same time, sometimes it actually performs at 50 for a bit. The vast majority of the cracking the slab mission, which I'm going to try and not do spoilers here, but the vast majority of that mission, since a good amount of it happens indoors, the vast majority of that actually performed fine, and I actually really enjoyed that mission, in fact, and I think a lot of that came down to the fact that I could actually play it reasonably. But 90% of the rest of the game was just, it was at the point where if it wasn't Dishonored 2, and if I wasn't such a massive fan of the first game and waited so long for this game, if it was just a game that I picked up on a whim, I probably would have stopped playing before the end of the first hour, honestly. And Bethesda, I know, like I said at the start, updates, they have addressed this more than once. There's not been an update yet. I trust that Arcane's working on it, but having said that, in a video a while ago, I also said I trust that Arcane will make it work. I think it was in a Summit episode actually, I said I trust Arcane to have a good working game, and that appears to not be the case, so we'll see how this update goes. And similar to the frame rate issue is just general technical issues. I have this weird glitch, and I'll show an example of it on screen now. I have this weird glitch where I'd say 95% of the time I try and open the game opens its initial loading screen, stays on it for 5 to 10 seconds, and then just closes itself, and that's it. And I've discovered if that happens, which it happens like I said about 95% of the time, if I just click play over and over and over again, it's just going to keep happening. And the only way for me to get that to work is not by restarting Steam, not by logging off and logging on again, but by completely restarting my entire computer. So 95% of the time when I play the game, I've had to restart my entire computer and load it up as soon as my computer loads up, just to be able to play the game. And even that doesn't always work. There's been, I think only once actually when that hasn't worked, and I've had to restart it a second time just to play the game. But that's such an odd thing that it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why that's there, and how has that not come up in QA testing? Did no one else experience that? Because it just doesn't make sense that the game would open and then just close itself instantly or after about 5 seconds of being frozen on the loading screen without actually making any progress on the load. It's fucking weird. Another technical difficulty, the sound seems to be a bit fucked up. I noticed sometimes in cutscenes, like the first bit of a sentence will be cut off. I noticed there was an occasion in my video when I was walking into a wall of light and it was just silent, like I'd walk into it, I'd be killed by it and thrown back. But in the first game where it'd like make the sort of alarmy sound, where it sort of goes boom, boom as it hits you, and it makes like the shock sound as it hits you. I don't know if that sound is still there and it's just glitched and I can't hear it, or if it is silent, I don't know. But it was broken anyway. And just loads and loads of little things, and I don't want to say listing them off because again, I don't want this to be a long video, but things like it's not really a cutscene, but like the little bit where you see Delilah's ritual happening, that is glitched for me, and I think for everyone, in the if you sit there and you watch it play out and then the cutscene ends and then just starts again, and then it ends and then it starts again and it just loops. Not necessarily a massive problem, doesn't ruin the game, but it's a bit immersion breaking when you've got this really dramatic cutscene with the music and all that, and then it ends and it's like, oh shit, that's what happened. And then it starts again, and then it's like, okay, you know, if you put it on repeat, it's gonna repeat. So it's a bit like, okay, this is a bit immersion breaking. And then they've done a whole bunch of things that just didn't need to be done. Things like the leaning mechanic worked fine in the first game. You hold lean left, you can move around whilst you're leaning. You hold lean right if you want to lean right. In this game, it's toggle. You gotta toggle it for it to work. And not hold, and you can't move whilst you're doing it. The amount of times I walked up to a wall and hit the lean key, toggle the lean key, oh I can't see far enough around the wall, let me just hit it again to untoggle it, move a bit to the left, and then toggle it again, and then untoggle it so I can move again. It's just the stupidest, I don't understand, because it blows my mind though, because it worked fine in the first game, they had a working system, why did they not carry that through to this game? Is it the new Unreal Engine just doesn't work in the same way and they couldn't figure out how to get it to work properly? It was a thing that had no issue, and it was such a minor thing, but it worked fine, and now it's just less convenient and a bit of a pain in the dick. The same with things like if you have your weapons away and then you click to pull your weapons out, it will blink. Well, I should say I have blink on left click and my sword and right click, just because that's how I've always had it. You know, the left hand and the right hand, it just makes sense to me. And also, because I speedrun it, I blink a lot more than I use the sword, or not necessarily in Dishonored 2 because it's slightly different, but in Dishonored 1 at least. Yeah, if you click, you just blink straight away. Even if you have your weapons away, it's just blink straight away. So the amount of times I've gone to pull my weapons out when they've been sheathed, and then I've ended up just blinking, it's like, okay. So the scripting, I'm going to be honest, the scripting and the dialogue is significantly better than the last game. The last game was almost infamous for some of its shitty lines and some of its shitty acted lines. I've made fun of them, I pointed them out if you saw my completionist challenge on the previous game. You'll know what I'm talking about because I basically pointed out loads of the shitty ones. This game, a lot of them are better, but at the same time, there are some really weird, dumb lines in there. And just in general, some of the dialogue seems a bit weird. Like the line in the Delilah scene when the dude's like, this is better than any orgy I've ever been to. And it's just like the way he says it, and it's just really out of place, and why is it even there? Shit, what else? The guards, when they say something like, you've been found guilty of standing in my way. And I heard that in like my first casual playthrough. I must have heard that 6 or 7 times, and it was stupid the first time I heard it, and it was stupid. I mean, Blow Off Choffer is not exactly Oscar winning the greatest writing of all time, but I mean, it's just a weird line. I have had occasions where NPCs have both said the same thing at the same time. In the Timepiece Mansion, there was a moment when 2 people were like, I don't know who you are, but you can't be here, and they both said it at the exact same time, and it was just like they had the same animation going, and it was a guy saying it and a woman saying it, but they were both saying it at the same time, and it was a bit odd. The fucking Clockwork Soldiers sound like something out of Ratchet and Clank. For starters, they have like, they say there's 1 of 2 lines when they find you, 1 of 2 lines when they lose you, 1 of 2 lines when they kill you, and they just get so repetitive, and just the way, it just seems so irrelevant. Like, why does it have to be, I forget his name, Jindosh, why does it have to be Jindosh's voice? It sounds like something out of Ratchet and Clank. It just doesn't really suit the game, I don't think, the way his voice is. I don't think the character itself seems fine, actually. When you're in Jindosh's mansion, the Clockwork Mansion, that seems alright, but the Clockwork Soldiers just seem like weird. just with the dialogue. I think without the dialogue would have been better, or if they had like maybe a robotic voice, but whatever. And then a lot of my other problems just come down to stuff that I don't really want to talk about yet, because like I said, I sort of maybe rushed through the game a little bit. I'd like to wait, and I really hope they do fix it and it gets to a good running state, because at that point I'll play through it again more than once, 2, 3, maybe even more times. I'll play through it again properly. I want to explore everything, read all the lore, find all the collectibles and shit, do all the side quests, but for now I just can't do that. For that reason, I mostly don't want to comment on, you know, the gameplay too much or the way it plays out, just because I feel like it hasn't had its fair chance, or I haven't given it its fair chance, and I don't want to sit here ripping into the game, and then when they do fix the optimization stuff and it runs well, I start playing it and I'm like, this game's actually phenomenal. But based on my first impressions, I don't know, I feel like nothing really gets a chance to be spread out. Like the black market seemed like it was going to be a big thing, and then I only ever visited 2, and that was just, I only ever found 2. Maybe there were more in the game, I just never found any. They never really actually became a proper thing. I know Griff was only in the game twice in the first game, but when it was like, hey, the black market sort of thing, keep an eye out for those, and then they were, and it was like a proper full shop, like Borderlands style. But then you go, and then the next mission you might come across one, and then that's sort of it for them. I feel like they weren't really fleshed out, and just a lot of things like that. I wasn't going for every collectible, but I also wasn't ignoring them. Like, I was going for like all of the relatively easy collectibles, and I was going out of my way for some collectibles, some runes and stuff. And I went out of my way for, first of all, there's way more fucking bone charms than there are runes. And I added way more bone charms in, which is fine. But having said that, I did completely ignore them. Like, I basically, you get 5 bone charm slots by default, and you can get more via upgrade, which I never did because I never upgraded anything, just because it never got to that point in the game. Like I said, 2 black markets, never saw another one in the game, so I never really had a chance to do any upgrades. But yeah, the runes, I was going out of my way for some even, and yet still I basically bought, what did I even get? What's it called? The dark vision thing, where you can see through walls, which was in the first game. I bought that, never used it. I bought agility 1 and agility 2, and I bought shadow walk, and that's it. That I got the end of the game, and then that was it. So all the other abilities I didn't buy, all the other upgrades, you know, vitality, fucking strength even. I bought like 3 things, and that wasn't because I wasn't buying them. That was because by the end of the game, that was all I could buy, because that was all the runes I'd collected over the course of the game. And I just feel like it never really gave me a chance to get those runes. Maybe if I perform better and it's like, oh well, I'll get them once I'm actually bothered to collect every single one. You know, maybe there were more black markets and I just missed them, although it just feel a bit ridiculous. I got to the end of the game and never even really had a chance to upgrade my weapons, nor did I ever really feel it necessary. In the first game, it was actually really, you didn't have to, but it was really useful to upgrade your weapons, and they were really cool. You know, you really wanted to do it, there was plenty of chance to do it, you could do it in between every mission. In this game, it was like, oh, the game's finished, oh wait, I never upgraded anything. So, I don't know, man. Also, again, I don't know if this was just down to performance and I couldn't really focus on anything, but more than one occasion, actually twice, I killed the target without even realising they were the target. I don't even remember which the first one was. It wasn't... No, I think it might have been Ash, actually, because I thought she was just a witch and then I killed her, and it wasn't until, like, it popped up saying target killed, I was like, oh shit. But then also the general. Again, I was running around killing random guards, and then I just killed a guy, and then it was the general, and I was like, oh, he's my target, he's dead. Oh, and the crown killer as well. I'm going to say spoiler warning here. The crown killer, you've got to look around her room for clues, is what the mission said. The marker was on her room. I checked the mission clues and it said look around her room for clues. So I spent about 10 minutes, checked every fucking corner, nook and cranny of that room, and there was nothing. So then I was like, right, fuck, I don't even know what to do. So I just killed her randomly. And then it popped up in the top right corner saying crown killer has been killed. And I was like, what? I just killed her randomly. Have I missed something? Is there some note somewhere that tells me she's the fucking crown killer? I can't even get my words out. But yeah, it completely blew my mind. That mission just was completely ruined for me by the fact that I spent 10 minutes looking around that room, found nothing, killed her, and then found out that she was the crown killer, and then that was the end of the mission. Apparently there is a note somewhere, but it's not in that room. So I don't know why that room says look around the room for clues when that isn't actually what you need to do. It's a bit weird, but whatever. Oh, and lastly, I feel like it holds your hand so much when it really doesn't need to. It's really odd, because it does this thing where, first of all, whenever you're near a rune, it pops up on the bottom of the screen saying, hey, you're near a rune or a bone charm, get the heart out every single time you're near one, right through to the end of the game. But also just in places like in the time mission, there's a bit where you get into the safe and there's a hole in the wall, but it's blocked by a statue. And Emily says something like this: "But you've been in the mansion for about like 10-15 minutes up to this point. And you'd like, and this is about halfway, maybe even past the halfway point of the timepiece set of the mission, and yet she's still giving you really obvious clues, and it does that more than once, I'll say that much." Also, last thing I want to mention, since I said it at the start of the video, it's only happened twice, but there have been 2 times when I went into what was supposed to be a loading screen, and it saved, and then it just went black, and then the game crashed and didn't work anymore, and I had to restart my computer. And the reason why I wanted to mention that is because I said at the start I tried to do a speedrun. Very last goddamn loading screen of the game, the loading screen you go through, I'll play the clip actually. The loading screen you go through, and then you go and fight Delilah, and then you go into her world, kill her, and then the game ends. That loading screen went black, it closed, and then I couldn't open it again, and I lost the run. 45 minutes into the run, very last loading screen of the game, and that's it, run over. So yeah, that's annoying. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Hopefully a lot of this shit will be, hopefully this video is completely irrelevant, is what I'm saying, in like 2 weeks time. Maybe less, hopefully 1 week's time. I mean, the sooner the better. I can't play till next weekend anyway. I'm doing a 24-hour stream next weekend, and I'm doing the 50 Nook challenge. If anyone's interested in watching me eat, well, not 50, I'm almost 90% sure I'm not going to eat all 50 chicken nuggets. But I'll be doing that on about 8 hours into the 24-hour stream or something like that. Yeah, so I probably will play it next weekend. Hopefully, I mean, they'll have all this week to bring out a patch before I can play it again. Hopefully that happens. But regardless, thank you for watching. Sorry the game was a bit of a hodgepodge, but yeah, my name's Yeti. I like it, be greatly appreciated. Subscribe for more. If they do fix it, and I keep saying if because I'm not convinced, but if they do fix it, I will be doing a full series on it, non-lethal ghost, all collectibles on the hardest difficulty. But until then, thanks for watching. Like I said, the edited video will be out tomorrow. I'll see you next time, guys. Peace, peace.